The record is now 4-0 for the number 3 rated Grandview Vikings after winning at Culver Stockton 45-13. Head coach Joe Woodley joins us. And Joe, a quick start for your team on this last contest. You took the opening drive, 10 plays, 64 yards, touchdown, and you guys were off and running.
Yeah, it was refreshing to see because it seems like it's been a little bit of a struggle to get off to a fast start, to this point or till Saturday, and that was the challenge at the beginning of the week. Notoriously we take the ball first every time. I just believe in that, and you try and set the tempo for the game, and still got a ton of faith in our offense and what they can do, and they went out there and showed that Saturday. Fairly methodical drive, even though there was a couple miraculous plays. One for sure by Jackson and Toki scrambling out of there and making a play for us to kind of ignite the sideline and get everything going. So to get on the board on the road after they've been challenged, and then in return our defense goes down and gets a 3 and out. So we started real fast, and I'm not quite sure what it ended up at the end of the first quarter, but I know we raced out to a 28-0 lead, somewhat quick, and it was just kind of playing it out through the rest of the game.
Running game was strong with Jackson having a couple of rushing touchdowns, and Dalton Van Pelt also had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, and that was kind of a little bit of the game plan, if you will, with Jackson. When we played against Missouri Valley, they kind of muddied some things up, as I had talked about, and we just said, hey, you're a pretty athletic kid, you can go make something happen if there's nothing there in the pass game, and he really took to that, and and he made a lot of plays with his feet. So some of those runs were a little bit kind of off schedule rushing yards. Him just being a good player. We did have some design runs for him that we executed pretty well. And Dalton's just he's ran tough, and and we were, I don't want to say thin at running back. We just Tim was out for personal reasons, and so it was some other guys had to step up too, and I thought the guys that hopped in there, they did a nice job. Tate Stein-Smith, it was nice to see him pop a good run, and Titus Christensen, who's battled a lot of injuries over his career here, to see him get in and make a couple nice runs and also have a nice kick return. It was good to get him back in the mix, and again, it's not quite that time of the year, but it's getting close, where injuries are happening, and guys got to step up, and I saw a lot of that on display, not just at the running back position, but certainly at other positions across the board.
Let me ask you about Tate Stein-Smith, receiver, but you kind of utilized him as in the running back position. How has he evolved in that position?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not even positive how it started. I don't know if he approached us about it or we approached him about it. I'm thinking we approached him about it just because he was kind of out of us. And he was probably going to be able to help us at wide receiver, but we just felt there was a little bit more of a need for depth at running back, just because running backs, it's a physical position, and we thought he had the skill set to do it. And plus, he's put together pretty good. He's one of our stronger kids in the weight room, and he was fired up when we brought it up to him, and I just felt like it's kind of given him a new lease on, I don't know if new lease on life is the right way to put it, but a new lease on his football life at Grandview, that's for sure, and he's really taken to it, and I'm glad we made the move, and he's certainly made some positive strides.
And your defense, aside from a couple of late scores by Culver, your defense was just rock solid.
Yeah, and I was certainly wasn't worried because I got faith in our defense. But that team has got such size up front, and it's not that we're small. I would say we're I would like for us to be bigger, but I guess the flip side of that a little bit is I do think we're pretty athletic up there, and that gives us an advantage to some extent. So. When you're giving up 60, 70 pounds in a lot of those places, you're just, are they going to be able to move us and kind of get some things going? But our guys played with great technique, stayed in their gaps. Linebackers, they probably played one of their better games of the year, at least the 2 inside guys, Cade and Johnny, and they've been really good all year. But I thought they were really locked in Saturday and made a lot of plays, and it's a group effort when when things are going well, it's not just one group stopping the run. It's it's the second. Everybody's involved. We really never have any guys with great stats on defense, and I think it's just because we play great team defense, and and I hope to keep it that way.
Okay, we look to Saturday, the midpoint, Game 5, with the Clark Pride coming in. They're 1-4 for a homecoming, and the Pride coming off a loss at home to Peru State. What's the scouting report for Clark this year?
Yeah, I would kind of compare it to the game last week. Certainly had, I think when you watch them on film, they certainly have a lot of capabilities, and just for one reason or another, they just can't find a way to get into the more wins on the board. But they've got some pretty good personnel. I'm pretty impressed with a couple of their wide receivers. I think their offensive line moves pretty well. Quarterback, they've played a couple different guys. One's more of a he's more of their passer. He's a big guy too. I kind of liken him to Iowa's quarterback last year, Deacon. That's kind of who he was, big guy back there, and he can really sling it around. And like I said, they got two pretty good receivers, and then they got a running back, I think, with game-changing speed. So and then they bring in another quarterback. He's very capable of throwing, but it seems like they bring him in for a little bit of a spark. Just to kind of keep the defense off balance, and he does a nice job of that. Defensively, they really challenge you. It's a lot of man-to-man coverage and covering up gaps. We call it a bear front. They're covering up every O-lineman, and it's just like, hey, it's you versus me, and who's going to be able to win this battle. So certainly got our hands full. Their defense, I think, they're giving up less than 300 yards a game. I think they're somewhere in the 280 area, which is pretty darn good defensive football. So certainly got a lot of respect for Clark, and always had some weird games with them. And I'm hoping it's not that weird this week, but we certainly got to be ready to go, Jeff. We've got a lot of improving to do, and my challenge to the team this week is really just going. Last week it was really starting fast. Now let's start fast and finish fast. Didn't really feel like that played out that way Saturday, but like you said, we're 4-0 with one game left right before our bye week. We've got Hall of Fame weekend. We get to honor Jason Gladfelder this weekend, so we'll be excited to see Glad back. He's one of the all-time greats in this program. On our national championship team, he was the MVP of that game. So he'll be our honorary captain talking to the team. So, and I haven't seen him in a long time. I think he's been off the grid for a while. But excited to have him back, and homecoming, and hopefully that brings a good crowd, because quite honestly, these guys deserve it. We've won a lot of football games here. The senior class has won a lot of football games here over the past several years, and hopefully we get the support of everybody in the Viking Nation.
All right, Joe, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Grandview and Clark Saturday for homecoming. Kickoff is at noon.